Laughter filled the bridal shop like music. Natalie stood on the platform in front of a mirror, dressed in a white gown that shimmered under the soft lights. Her hands trembled as she smoothed the lace on her waist, not because she was nervous, but because she was happy. Her sister Mariah clapped and cheered beside their mother, who had tears in her eyes. "You look like a dream," Mariah said, her phone already snapping pictures. "Deshawn's going to lose his mind when he sees you in this." Natalie blushed. "He better," she joked, grinning at her reflection. Champagne flutes clinked. A soft breeze from the shop's open window rustled the hanging veils. For the first time in a long time, everything felt right. Later that night, Natalie carried her heels in one hand as she unlocked the door to her apartment. She was humming a slow song she and Deshawn had picked for their first dance. The apartment was dark, except for the dim kitchen light. His car was parked out front. He was home early. Maybe he'd surprise her. Maybe tonight they'd talk about honeymoon plans. She pushed open the bedroom door and froze. Deshawn was in her bed. So was Mariah, under the same sheets. Natalie didn't move. Her heels dropped to the floor with a soft thud. For a second, no one said anything. Just the sound of her own heartbeat slamming in her chest. Deshawn sat up, panic spreading across his face. "Natalie, wait, it's not—" Mariah didn't move. She pulled the blanket up lazily, like nothing was wrong, like she wasn't naked in her sister's bed. "Well, guess the surprise is ruined." Natalie stared. Her voice wouldn't come. Her throat burned. Her legs felt locked in place. Then it hit her. Not anger, not even rage. Just a sound, raw, low, painful, that tore from her mouth before she even knew it was hers. A scream full of betrayal. She backed away. Her ring felt heavy, suddenly foreign. She ripped it off and let it fall onto the hardwood floor. Then she turned and walked out, the door slamming behind her. She didn't look back. Natalie had always been the one who stayed quiet and did what was right. She worked long hours at the hospital, cared deeply for her patients, and never asked for much. Her friends called her the steady one. She was the one people could count on, even when she couldn't count on anyone herself. Mariah, on the other hand, was the kind of person who walked into a room and made it about her. She was beautiful, loud, confident. She changed jobs like outfits and dated like it was a game. Growing up, she was their parents' favorite. No one ever said it out loud, but Natalie felt it in every birthday gift, every compliment, every time their mother said, "Why can't you be more like Mariah?" Even as kids, Mariah had a habit of taking things Natalie loved. Her dollhouse, her gold necklace, her favorite spot on the couch, and now her fiancé. Natalie didn't sleep the night she caught them. She packed a small bag, left the apartment without telling anyone, and stayed at a cheap hotel outside the city. The betrayal sat in her chest like a stone, not just from Deshawn, but from her own sister. In the weeks that followed, Natalie moved out of the apartment, quit her job, and disappeared from everyone's radar. Her phone buzzed constantly at first, calls from her mom, a few mutual friends, even a couple from Deshawn. She ignored every one of them. She thought about how she met Deshawn. It had been simple, sweet. She'd stitched up his nephew's cut hand one night in the ER. He came back 2 days later with flowers and a thank you note. They talked, slowly at first, then all the time. He was calm, warm, a good listener. He made her feel seen. They dated for 2 years. She thought he was the one. 2 months after she left, someone tagged her in a picture on Instagram. Mariah, in a red dress, laughing on a rooftop. Deshawn stood beside her, arm around her waist. The caption read, "Date night, with the future hubby champagne heart." Natalie couldn't breathe. They were public now. Weeks later, her mother called, just once. "Mariah's getting married," she said flatly. "Try to come. It would mean a lot." "To who?" Natalie asked, even though she knew the answer. Her mother sighed. "You already know. It's best to let the past go, honey." Everyone wanted her to forget. Everyone except Aunt Viola. Aunt Viola called her once a week without fail. She didn't offer advice. She didn't say, "Move on." She just listened. Told her she was strong. Told her Mariah had always been jealous. "You shine too quiet, baby," she once said. "And that girl hates what she can't control." Natalie moved to Charlotte, found a new job, a small apartment, started over, slowly. She joined a local book club, started running, grew her hair out. No one there knew about the wedding, or Mariah, or Deshawn, until one Thursday afternoon, an envelope arrived. No return address, She opened it and saw her name, embossed in gold. Natalie Matthews, guest of honor. You are invited to the wedding of Mariah Matthews and Deshawn Carter. Date, September 17th. Her original wedding date. Time, 5 p.m. Location, the Oak Gardens, Atlanta. Her hand shook. They'd taken everything, and now they were rubbing it in her face. Natalie sat in her therapist's office, legs crossed, arms folded. The wedding invite lay unopened on the small table between them. It's just paper, Natalie said, staring at it like it might burn her fingers. It's not about the paper, her therapist replied gently. It's about what it represents. And you don't have to go. But maybe you shouldn't ignore it either. Natalie sighed. I left all of that behind. Did you? The therapist asked. Then why are your hands shaking? Natalie looked down. She didn't have an answer. That night, she poured a glass of wine and opened the envelope again. She read the invite slowly, every word hitting like a jab to the ribs. Then, something slipped out. A second card, a printed guest list. She scanned the names, not really caring, until her eyes stopped. Malik Carter. Her heart jumped. Malik was Deshawn's older cousin, a self-made entrepreneur, always dressed like a GQ ad. He and Natalie had met early in her relationship with Deshawn, and something electric had passed between them. Nothing ever happened, but the energy was real. Once, after too many drinks at a family barbecue, Malik had whispered, "If you ever get tired of my little cousin, let me know." Now he'd be at the wedding. Natalie picked up her phone and booked a flight to Atlanta. The day of the rehearsal dinner, she arrived at the venue in a sleek black dress that fit her like confidence. Her makeup was subtle, sharp. Her curls were pinned up. She didn't come to beg. She came to watch the show. Inside the ballroom, music played softly. Candlelight danced on glass. She walked in slowly, heels clicking on the marble floor. Heads turned. Mariah choked on her drink. Deshawn froze mid-conversation. Malik stood at the bar, laughing with a group of men. When he saw her, his smile dropped for a second, then returned, brighter. He walked over with 2 drinks in hand. "I thought I was hallucinating," he said, handing her one. "Not a ghost," she replied, just unbothered. They talked, laughed. The old spark came back fast. She noticed the way he leaned in, the way he studied her face like he wanted to remember it forever. Across the room, Mariah stared. Her smile was tight. Her grip on Deshawn's arm got harder. Deshawn looked at Natalie, then Malik, then back at his half-full glass. The next song came on, slow, low, smooth. Malik held out a hand. Natalie took it, and they danced. The next morning, Natalie sat with Malik on the terrace of the hotel. A gentle breeze moved through the palm trees, and the smell of fresh coffee drifted between them. She stirred her tea slowly, waiting for him to speak. "You know," Malik said finally, voice low, "she cheated on him." Natalie looked up. "Mariah?" He nodded. "Last month, some club promoter in Miami. One of my guys saw them. It wasn't just a kiss. They left together." Natalie stared at him. "Does Deshawn know?" "I told him," Malik said. "He didn't believe me at first. Then I showed him proof, photos. And he's still marrying her?" she asked, disbelief rising in her voice. Malik nodded. "Family pressure. Business stuff too. They signed a pre-wedding partnership, branding, endorsements, all that. He said it would blow up everything if he backed out now." Natalie sat back in her chair. "So he'd rather marry a liar than disappoint a few investors." "He's scared," Malik said. "And maybe still in love. I don't know." She looked away, out at the garden. Her heart ached, not because she wanted Deshawn back, but because the man she once trusted had lost all his strength. "You need to tell someone," she said. "He needs to hear it again. Maybe from someone who actually matters." Malik shook his head. "It's not that easy." Natalie's voice was sharp now. "But letting him marry someone who doesn't even respect him is." Malik looked at her for a long time. He didn't answer. Later that day, Natalie was walking through the hallway of the venue when Mariah appeared from around the corner, arms folded, mouth curled into a hard smile. "Enjoying yourself?" Mariah asked. Natalie didn't stop walking. Mariah stepped in front of her. "You always play the victim. Poor Natalie, always getting stepped on." Natalie met her eyes. "I don't have to play anything. You did what you did." Mariah's smile dropped. "He was mine from the start. You just kept him warm for me." Natalie raised an eyebrow. "You really believe that?" "I know it," Mariah hissed. "You're not bold enough, not sexy enough. You don't know how to keep a man like him." Natalie tilted her head slightly. Her voice was calm. "You didn't win, Mariah. You just broke something I trusted. And that's all you know how to do. Take things, ruin them, then pretend it was yours all along. Mariah's jaw clenched. She turned and walked away without another word. That night, at a private cocktail event for close friends and family, Deshawn found Natalie standing near the balcony, watching the city lights. He was drunk. "Natalie," he said, touching her arm. "Can we talk?" She stepped away. "There's nothing left to say. I messed up," he slurred. "I know. But you coming here? You look, I don't know, like something I lost." She looked at him coldly. "You didn't lose me. You gave me away." He looked down. "She's not what I thought she was." "That's not my problem," she said, and walked past him. Malik was waiting near the elevator. He gave her a small smile as she approached. "You okay?" "Not really," she said honestly. "But I'm done pretending." He nodded slowly. "Good." She leaned in and kissed him. It wasn't wild or rushed. It was soft, certain, and full of all the things neither of them had been allowed to feel until now. When she pulled back, she looked him in the eye. "If you really want to save him from her," she said, "then let's do it together." He didn't say yes. He just took her hand. The church was filled with white roses, gold ribbons, and the sound of soft piano music. Every seat was taken. Guests whispered and smiled, waiting for the show to begin. Deshawn stood at the front of the altar, dressed in a sharp black suit. His hands were clenched tightly, and sweat dotted his forehead. He didn't look happy. He looked like someone trying not to run. Then the doors opened. Mariah appeared in a glittering dress, holding her bouquet high like a trophy. She smiled like she had already won. Her eyes scanned the crowd, full of pride, until they landed on Natalie, sitting calmly in the second row, wearing a deep red dress that hugged her curves and dared anyone to look away. Mariah's smile twitched, but she kept walking. The music slowed. Everyone stood. Natalie didn't move. The priest welcomed them, began speaking, words about love, commitment, and truth. Deshawn barely heard any of it. When the priest said, "If anyone here objects to this union, speak now or forever hold your peace," Malik stood up. The room gasped. "I object," he said, voice steady, loud, "because this marriage is built on lies." Whispers turned to full-on chatter. Before the priest could speak again, Natalie stood too. "I second that." Mariah's mouth dropped open. "Are you serious right now?" Deshawn turned to her, his face pale. "Did you really sleep with that guy in Miami?" Mariah froze. Her eyes shot to Malik, then to Natalie. "You told him?" she snapped. Deshawn stepped back. "Just tell me the truth." Mariah's voice rose. "This is my wedding. You don't get to ruin it with your weak little feelings." Deshawn looked at her, then at the crowd, then at Natalie. "I can't do this," he said, stepping away from Mariah. Gasps. A woman fainted in the second row. Mariah screamed and threw her bouquet across the room. Then she lunged straight at Natalie, her face twisted in rage. But Malik was faster. He stepped between them, holding Mariah back. "Get off me!" she shrieked. "You brought this on yourself," Malik said, calm as ever. Natalie didn't flinch. Aunt Viola appeared beside her, took her hand, and whispered, "Let's go, baby." Natalie nodded. They walked down the aisle slowly, as the room exploded into noise behind them. Cameras flashed. Guests shouted. Natalie didn't look back. Mariah's downfall came fast. Videos from the wedding went viral within hours. People shared clips of her screaming, the groom walking away, and Natalie standing strong in red. Comments flooded in. Some laughed. Others were shocked. But most agreed. Mariah got what she deserved. She tried to post a statement online, but it only made things worse. Brands pulled out of deals. Family members stopped returning her calls. Even her closest friends backed away quietly. Meanwhile, Natalie disappeared for a little while. She and Malik took a trip to the mountains, just the two of them. No phones, no noise, just quiet mornings, soft blankets, and slow walks in the cold air. One night, by the fire, Natalie finally let the tears fall. Malik held her hand and didn't say a word. She wasn't crying because she missed Deshawn or because of Mariah. She cried because for the first time in years, she felt free. The weight was gone, the pretending, the silence, the pain. Back home, she started building something new. With Malik's support and funding, Natalie opened a small wellness clinic for women, focused on emotional healing, grief support, and self-care. She called it Truth and Healing. The first week, Aunt Viola brought flowers. "You turned pain into purpose," she said, kissing Natalie's forehead. Aunt Viola also helped Natalie reconnect with old friends, people she hadn't spoken to since the fallout. One by one, they came back, some with tears, others with apologies. Natalie welcomed them all with grace, not because she needed them, but because she was no longer afraid of being seen. She wore what she wanted, said what she felt, walked like someone who had nothing to prove. Then one morning, a small envelope arrived in her mailbox. No return address. Inside was a letter from Deshawn. He said he was sorry, that he didn't know who he was back then, that she didn't deserve what happened. He hoped she was happy. She read it once. Then she took it outside, lit a match, and watched the letter curl into ashes. She smiled as the wind carried them away. The restaurant was quiet, tucked away on a small street, lined with trees and string lights. A warm glow filled the space, and soft music played in the background. Natalie and Malik sat at a corner table by the window, candles flickering between them. She wore a simple dress, her hair loose, her smile easy. Malik reached across the table and took her hand, his thumb brushing gently over her fingers. "No big speech," he said, looking into her eyes. "No ring tonight." She raised an eyebrow, curious. "I just want to ask one thing," he said. "What do you want next?" Natalie looked at him for a long moment. The world outside felt still. Her voice was soft, but certain. "Peace," she said. "And maybe a real love story." Malik smiled, full of quiet understanding. "I can give you that." They clinked their glasses together, and laughter bubbled between them. Light, honest, free. Outside, the camera slowly pulled back. Their silhouettes glowed in the window. Hands still joined, faces relaxed, no longer carrying the weight of the past. Then her voice came, clear and calm. "She stole my wedding date, but all she really did was set me free.